Welcome back, everyone, to Kart Chaser for coverage of the Indy Karting Challenge as we get set for the heat and final portion of our coverage here today from Whiteland, Indiana. Justin Prince, Cal Fiasco with you as we get them set to go for this one, as we get set to see how the 206s plus the KA Senior Masters goes here, Caleb. It should be a fun afternoon after some intense qualifying, especially in some of our latter groups. We'll see how the racing goes here today for the heat races.
Yeah, it should be good. I mean, already we talked about racing earlier on this morning, and that was super exciting to see. And now we're excited to see it again here in the afternoon groups again. Some different faces, some new and familiar faces to what we saw earlier on this morning. And this is the coolest thing that I like about the Indy Kart Challenge. You could be home if you race in the morning by noon and do whatever you want with your family in the afternoon. For those of the drivers that are here racing in the afternoon, you can wake up as late as you want, show up to the track whenever you want, and really be ready to race in the afternoon sessions. Again, it flip-flops all throughout the year, so it's cool to see here for the Indy Kart Challenge. But on the racetrack now, your 206 Sportsman, one of the biggest classes that we have here on the back end of the day, and with the warmer temperatures starting to heat up, no opening laps and no extra warm-up laps. So we'll see how they all stack up once they get the green flag here, Justin.
So our first grouping of drivers ready to go already. And taking the green, we're underway for 206 Sportsman as we speed our way ahead. No warm-ups for the tires this afternoon. And already, Gaddis and company making their way through Sector 1. Field already single filed out for the most part already, quickly getting to form.
That's a surprising thing to see, especially early on in this race. Everybody from all these young drivers getting in a single file line and not wanting to fight it out all too much. So single file all the way through. Dominic Gaddis going to be the driver out at the point with a couple of the MPG Academy boys right behind him. Taylor not too far off. Sears as well is pretty close in the mix here. So we'll see how it all plays out and how they all stack up this time around. Gaddis, your leader here on lap number 1. Sears is up to second, to Taylor, to Laffin. Feichtinger's up to 5th. Robert, Stoner, Hendrickson, your top 8, to Willie and a King, your top 10 drivers here so far.
So already off to a good start for Dalton Sears in particular, trying to get himself close up to Gaddis. Gaddis, last time by, started things off with the 54-4s to begin this race. Already seeing some lunges and some sends. Some of those red and white cards continue to swap back and forth, able to make some passes. The MPG cards going back and forth, Taylor and Sears once more.
Yeah, everybody's starting to fight for a position here early on in this race, and indeed, there you have it. Sears and Taylor starting to fight, and they swap positions that time around. Taylor's up to second. Fastest lap of the race goes all the way down to 6th here with Titus Roberts, a 51.616. Fastest driver on the racetrack, so definitely not going to be a runaway here for Dominic Gaddis. Not one bit. The drivers all inside of the top 6, well within a shot to get in range for a heat race victory.
Indeed, as you see more swapping going on. Now it's up front. Now involves Taylor swapping his way to the point. And already Taylor to the lead. Our first lead change of the heat races here today. Gaddis trying to find a way to poke around. They are not waiting and remaining patient here in this race. They are going as soon as the door opens.
Yeah, again, not wanting to waste any time there by Taylor. As soon as he got up to the rear bumper there, Dominic Gaddis. And it could really fall, one of two ways here as this race continues to go on. It could have been a good move there by Taylor to put himself in a comfortable position to be in control for the majority of this race, or it could have really put him under fire to Dominic Gaddis, who now sits in second. And you see a couple of moves now being made there further back. Looks like Feichtinger looking on the inside. Feichtinger able to get clear that time around and up to third. Sears falls back to fourth.
The squabbling continues on in the line. Already seen the top two starting to break away a little bit after a small poke from Gaddis. They're still not done battling for the third and fourth spots at the moment. 90 seconds to go on the clock. Right now, Feitzinger still in that spot for third, but for how long, with how much they're fighting, we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a close one here, and you see your top two start to break away here a little bit. 7 car lengths, even more than that. The gap in between your two leaders and the drivers in third on back. So we'll see. Taylor and Gaddis doing a good job to work together here as this race continues to go on. Sears as well, the driver in third that's leading, Feitinger, the driver in third who's leading the pack up to the top two. Continue to set in personal best lap times after personal best lap times. So that's a good showing for the top two MPG Academy boys.
40 seconds to go on the clock still, plus the 2 laps afterwards. Dalton Sears up. Everyone making some swaps and changes, to say the least. Gaddis with the white helmet, Taylor with the red helmet. Once those top two. And this is a lot more what we were expecting earlier on in the day when we seen Taylor. Gaddis definitely putting the fight on. Taylor's got the draft, though, in his Sportsman. And now looking for a way to push ahead, make it a 2-kart race for good. Expecting 2 to go coming up here.
2 laps to go this time around. Again, 2 seconds left on the clock officially. It's officially run out this time around, so going to be crunch time here for these two boys. Gaddis back at the front. Taylor falls back to second. 2 sticks in the air this time around. 2 laps to go.
Just 2 more times around the racetrack as Gaddis still holds on in front. When does Taylor get the chance to make a run to retake the spot? We'll see. Now we'll have to see what happens at this point. Here we go. Taylor down the straightaway, looking for the draft. The rest of the pack still squabbling back and forth. You see that pack right now on your screen. No major changes this time for them, coming up to the white flag this time around. And right now, the aggression continuing to stay built up, heading into this stretch, coming to the white flag.
White flag in the air this time around, and again, a big change up at the front. Gaddis falls back to third, and this entire front pack has just been changed all over, almost flipped on its head here this time around. We'll see how they kind of stack up this time around when they cross. Gaddis to Taylor, your top two, and then the battle further back, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth with Feitinger, Sears, Roberts, Lapfin, all in the mix there. But this is the final lap of the race here for Gaddis and Taylor this time around. We'll see what they can do. 2 laps to go this time around. It's marking, so we'll see if they get the checkered or not this time around. So far, still Gaddis who holds on.
Coming around this time towards the stripe. Let's get the answer here. Gaddis does take the line. Final lap is the trigger here, and they're going to keep on fighting. Going to keep on fighting it out for this race win. Taylor now over the back end, nearly gets within a kart length, needs to close up another kart length if he wants a shot. Here we go,
getting
down
closer
the back
this
straightaway.
time.
Yeah, he's going defensive with it. But Gaddis still holds on the line. Here comes Taylor, trying to find a way to get alongside, trying to find a way to diamond. One more set of corners. Taylor stays lined up, but it's Gaddis who lines himself with a heat race victory. He holds off Taylor for the win.
A good race all the way to the end. We've seen Gaddis and Taylor keeping it clean, keeping it respectful all the way through. Gaddis able to get the better. Feitinger across the line in third. Back to Sears and Roberts, your top 5. Laffin back to Hendrickson, Stoner, Willie, and King, your top 10 in this field.
So once again, 16 made the start in this race. Gaddis, Taylor, Feichtiner, along with Sears and Roberts, the top 5. Latham, then you have Hendrickson, Stoner, Willie, and Kane. Mole in 11th, Simon Ellick in 12th. Call, 13th, Wade and Zeal, the top 15. And Snetler rounds out the entries in our first of our heat races today. So the 206 Sportsman already complete. In a couple seconds' time, it'll be the 206 Cadets who hit the track. There they are now, right on cue for the Cadets. They get sorted out and ready to go for their respective race. 206 Cadet lines up like this. Hunter McBride, James Fox, Patrick McNeely, Grayson Waite, Kyle Hendrickson, Brittenhouse, and Maxwell. One with Hall and Heinzen, Hale and Geis, the rest of the order. And we've seen Fox earlier really state his speed in his kart earlier on. We'll see if that carries over or if Hunter McBride or anybody else changes the equation. And they're still separated a fair bit out. They are not close to being gathered up to go quite yet. Now they're going to have to give a full stop to group them all together here.
Yeah, everybody's going to get stacked and packed now. You see a couple of them. A lot of confusion as well off the tram lines here. But, man, we'll see if they get the green flag this time around or if they'll send them around one more time. And, indeed, one more time around for all these drivers.
Who are you keeping an eye on the most for this race?
There's a lot of drivers who have been super impressive as well in the early morning sessions, but after what we saw even this morning and what we're expecting to see here with your cadets, I mean, expect Hunter McBride to be up there and to be quick. Fox as well is going to be one of the drivers that we'll see get himself up there and put himself in the mix. So we'll see what is Grayson Waite as well, a driver who arguably had pace to be up there and to fight for the win of the morning session in the micro or either the micro or the mini class. I believe it was the micro class indeed. So we'll see what he can do as well here in this one. But again, we have our eyes peeled to a lot of drivers here today and expect those top 3 and 4 to really try and have a good day of racing here and expect them to try and pull away.
We do have one kart that had to go off into the grass there and didn't see the exact number, but we have had at least one kart have an issue here. As the field still yet to get gathered up, they are giving the green flag. Green flag is out, and that took some awkward moments there. The clock is rolling, though, and we're underway for racing for the 206 Cadets.
And already off to a great start there by McBride, not looking back one bit. Fox in second, Waite in third, and everybody else working their way through.
All staggered out and separated out a little bit on the racetrack, but 6'11" McBride looking to try and drive away in his highlighted yellow driver's uniform. Right now has a sizable advantage already to start this one off. Fox and company losing a lot of ground, and I mean a lot of it, to start this opening lap.
Yeah, McBride really just got out to the lead early and hasn't looked back since. I mean, we talked about consistency. We talked about putting yourself at the right place at the right time, and that's exactly what McBride has done so far in this race.
Just past 1 minute through. Gray Skies, amongst those who did take the green 9 cards on the racetrack. Let you know which of the names it is not as soon as possible. There's a look at McNeely. McNeely jumping up 3 spots on the opening lap. That was a perfect start for McNeely, but now is getting hounded from pressure from behind. A lot of swapping going on around them. Fox and Wade amongst those going back and forth.
Everybody's starting to shuffle here as well, like you were mentioning. Everybody continuing to fight. McNeely, Waite, Fox, Hall. all in the mix there, starting to fight for position, and we'll see what they can do. But, I mean, we see why McBride is pulling away in this race here, Justin. A 54.948 the last time around compared to the 56.655 of McNeely. That gap almost at a second and a half per lap by McBride, and an absolute league of his own here.
Yeah, that's untouchable speed right now unless something happens. That is a massive swing of pace right now for the time being for McBride. McBride, mind you, just started go-kart racing in 2022. Raced at a lot of different facilities. We've seen him, of course, here at Raceway Park. He's also had a lot of other races he's competed in at various different racetracks for various different teams. He has been quick all throughout the year racing in the Ohio Valley Karting Association. 5 seconds in 3 minutes is unreal.
Yeah, crazy race so far. And again, you're almost starting to wonder what may happen in the main event later on today. And for everybody else, I mean, it's not looking too good, to say the least.
Yeah, it really sets the tone for later, and it's a loud tone of McBride pace. Under 90 seconds to go. The others in the train are starting to stagger out as well. McNeely starting to really solidify second spot on the racetrack. Remember, McNeely looking to solidify second in the championship with some great runs today over Heinzen. All it's going to take is just finish the races in the case of McNeely to be able to do that. Heinzen, for reference, is in 6th spot, 16 seconds back on the leader.
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. Again, just 45 seconds left in this race, and when you talk about getting out in front, it's really difficult to continue to hit your marks and continue to go faster every single lap that you continue to go around this place. But being consistent, getting yourself in that zone that we've talked about earlier on today, and continuing to set in lap time after lap time has been super critical so far for McBride to continue to try and extend his gap, and really a huge testament to the work that's been done off a race weekend for that kid, because he is absolutely flying so far.
Blisteringly flying. Under 10 seconds to go on the clock. Should see 2 laps to go coming up here. Still, as they zip around the racetrack. Still that driver with the kart issues from before, watching along as the rest of the drivers make their way around the track. Looking at some of the battling still. Fox amongst those, now battling McNeely. Has been shuffled back after some issues, it looks like. Per the pylon, Fox last time by actually was quicker than the race leader. Obviously something souring on McNeely for him to lose this amount of time in these final laps at this amount of rapid pace after looking comfortable in second for a long time.
Yeah, everybody's just still lapping around, and again with the 2.6 in the air, you talked about what it was like for these drivers just kind of lapping around on their own. Fox is one of those. He has about a couple of seconds behind him. That gap back to McNeely. Fox in second, still holding on strong. The driver in the 6'11 of McBride, Hunter McBride, that is, still going around and getting closer and closer here to the start-finish straight. 6'11, really good pace so far in this one. So we'll see how it kind of plays out for McBride when he crosses the stripe this time around. Just got through. Fox as well just got through the start finishing straight. So 3.5 seconds, that gap. And again, it continues to open up with the final lap underway.
It is, if anything, closing actually for Fox. Fox has found pace at the right time, but the problem is lost so much speed in the short run that it doesn't really matter right now. But for McBride, He's got himself built up enough of a buffer to be able to take a heat race victory in dominating fashion. There he is, left side of the screen just for a moment. So the rest of the drivers come across here. Checker flag going to be waving coming up here. Hunter McBride puts on a strong run and puts himself into victory lane in the heat race. Second spot going to Fox. He trimmed what was a 5-second gap to 2.7 seconds at the very end. McNeely over Waite, then Hall, rounding out the top 5 for this grouping.
You go back further down the order as well. Heinzen in 6th. Crossing the line now. Hale back to Diesel, Maxwell, and Geist. The 9 drivers total in that class. That was smooth sailing. 206 Cadet heat race. Again, you can only wonder what we're going to see later on today when we get into that main event. At the moment, it looks like a Hunter McBride runaway for a little spoiler alert there, but your 206 mediums coming up next.
So 2 classes complete for their heat races now. Only 4 more to go. 206 medium due up next onto the racetrack. Those drivers due up for right about now, in fact. Just waiting for the last of the carts to get off the racing surface. Remember, Elijah Fox entering that championship with the points lead, already solidifying things essentially there. 13 starters are due up for our next class of drivers. We'll just have a moment here to be able to get that kart at the other side of the racetrack, and then we'll get things sorted here. Again, you're watching Kart Chaser for the Indy Karting Challenge.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?
That's because AKR gives you free shipping on orders of $200 or more within the continental US.
Okay, but I thought you were just getting a pair of gloves. That's what, 70 bucks?
But if I'm getting a new pair of gloves, I might as well get a new pair of shoes to match. And then on top of that, I'll get a neck brace because with the shipping, it's basically free.
Yeah, I do not think the math checks out on that.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free for orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Spend responsibly. Shop AKR.com.
Looking for a team with a diverse calendar? How about a team that offers both full support and teaches you and your kid how to do all the work yourself? For us at Drive Your Line Kart Sport, fostering growth on and off the track in a family environment is what we do. Well, that and bringing home some hardware. Contact us today online at dylkartsport.com. Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Are you looking for an advantage in your competition? Well, Car Class has done the hard work for you. We've traveled to your racetracks to give you the inside knowledge. So what does Car Class offer? We've got drone footage that captures the racing lines, visual markers for your braking points, acceleration zones, and the best overtake opportunities on your racetrack. Pedal cam to show you where to brake and when to accelerate, and 360-degree footage to make sure you don't miss any parts on the racetrack. We've covered 13 racetracks in the United States, and Australia, you're up next. So visit kartclass.com to get your track information.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Indy Karting Challenge from Whiteland, Indiana, as it looks like we're just about ready to go for our next grouping of karts. 206 medium now on track. Braden Heber in control of this field over Gavin Baird. Then it's Jared Howerton and Braden Johnson, Dylan Howerton and Braden Mayfield, Ian Stowell and Jack Dorsey, also Gunder Enderlide and Nicholas Nostman. Drivers who didn't take times also included Eric Spilling, Levi Wilbur, Evan McCorkadale. We're underway with 9 karts on the racetrack. Of note, Nostman and the rest of those DNSs did not take the green flag. Already off and away, going Heber, working his way through the opening sector, and off and away by 6-7 kart lengths already.
Yeah, really good start for Heber so far, and again, probably left with a fire in his belly after how the morning sessions kind of unfolded for him. Again, he just was close, but not close enough to take the win, and issues for him as well in the qualifying session in the KA Senior and Masters qualifying there. Not able to get a good starting spot for that main event later on. For that heat race in a couple of moments after this one, but a good start here for Heber to pull away from the rest of the field, and right behind them, Johnson, Baird, going to look to chase him down.
And how long it will take to chase him down is going to be a huge question. Right now, Heber, last qualifying session for this group, put up a time near 2/10 quicker than the next nearest driver. The drivers of Baird, Howerton, Jared should say, Braden, all close together. Braden Johnson on the respective packs in the session. Right now looking as Baird still trying to find a way to work together at the time. Trying to find a way to get back within the tire tracks of the 8. Close enough as possible to make a lunge. Johnson also providing the pressure. 3 minutes to go on the clock.
Still a lot of racing time to go here. And again, you look at the lap times, Heber has really shown to have the most pace out of the rest of the field here. This pack further back continuing to fight. Heber, again, really good pace on his own. For Baird, a 52.009. He's the fastest driver on the racetrack. Purple lap time belongs to him. Him and Johnson, again, running similar lap times, trying to push each other up to the rear bumper of Heber. And again, still some separation from second and third. Johnson losing a little bit of touch there with a driver in second. And Baird doing a good job to try and close down his gap to Heber here. He looks a lot closer this time around than what he was before. Not going to be close enough to attempt any sort of move. 2.5 seconds. 2.5 minutes left to go here.
Remember Johnson in the championship fight for second spot right now to keep that over Jared Howerton. Now things are looking now, build up a buffer that will make it very hard for him to lose the second spot in the standings. Levi Wilbur, with him not here today, is currently putting himself up for grabs a little bit for some downward pressure, but not enough to be able to be a panic in the standings. Braden Heber trying to go 2 consecutive races, including the last final in victory lane. Under 2 minutes to go. Right now, this train staying lined up astern. They have not been able to close up to the 8 kart and be able to chip away that gap fully here.
Yeah, everybody's starting to kind of change here, and you talk about their gaps. Just haven't really been able to close down at all throughout this race. So we'll see how it continues to shape up here, but Heber still just absolutely checked out here, Justin. And when you talk about this racetrack, that wasn't really what we were expecting to see, but given the technical portions of this track, I mean, we're not too surprised. Baird, the driver, in second to Johnson, Howerton to Dylan Howerton there as well. Your top 5, Dorsey, Mayfield, and Stow very close together on the racetrack. That was that battle that we were picking up They're further back, and fastest lap of the race to Jared Howardson, who sits in fourth, 51.298. Just 30 seconds to go left in this race, and man, it's been all about Heber so far in this one.
You can almost make a TV show named after that at this point, but it's been dominating pace from the 8, kind of sets the table for later on today once again. Seeing if that will last for later on. The 141 Johnson, having Jared Howerton try and keep up with him, laser focused on the pace. Still coming up to zeros on the clock. Should be 2 laps to go for the field. No major changes amongst this pack right now.
Yeah, not too many changes throughout the pack. Everybody's staying single file, and you're not going to want to risk all too much when you still have a lot to learn out there on the racetrack. When Heber's putting this much of a gap on the rest of the field, I mean, yeah, no need to fight it. You're fighting for scraps at that point.
Yeah. And at this point, a lot of the drivers are just taking what they have given to them so far. No major bold moves, no major lunges, no major risk for contact. Don't risk the kart. Don't risk destroying anything. It seems as though these drivers just thinking the big picture for later on today. Keep the equipment as it may and race how you want to be raced. That's going to be something to keep in mind the rest of the day as well. Now, should be coming up towards the final lap here. Yes, final lap trigger on scoring. Heber still leads now just by 0.8.
Yeah, it seems like it's closing down here just a bit. They're going to need a whole lot more than that if they really want to challenge later on today in the main event. And again, Heber hasn't been the quickest driver on the racetrack so far. Just putting himself in a good position at the start is really what did it there for Heber. For Johnson, he's the quickest driver. He sits in third at 50.773, and they continue to fight here for the third spot. Howardson and Johnson continuing to go at it side by side all the way through as they get to the last couple of corners.
Side by side once again, able to make the move in the inside Johnson. Crossover attempt for Howerton. Already Heber taking the checker prepare. Drag race for third. Jared Howerton gets the edge for the third spot. And able to get that edge by 0.030 seconds. A tight razor margin after the crossover to be able to rip away the spot.
Yeah, that was a close race. A close race all the way to the finish as the results finally populate here. Heber, big winner there again. But just on what we saw there, Justin, Heber wasn't the quickest driver. He just put himself in a really good position at the start of that race. So I'm expecting to see a lot of drivers, if they can really get themselves in the groove early on, to close down their gap.
And we'll see if that ends up being the case. Once again, Heber, Baird, Howerton, Johnson, Howerton, Dorsey, Mayfield, Stowell, and Inderline were the 9 who took the green flag and took the checker flag in that race. So due up next is 206 Junior. And the juniors taking their time to be able to get themselves prepared here for their respective race now. We'll see them in just a moment here on Kart Chaser for the Indy Karting Challenge. Our next grouping is now coming onto the racetrack as we get set for another qualifying pack of drivers. Now, up on the racetrack, 206 Junior, Lucy and Laser, Landon Buher on the front row, then Carson Benjamin and Evan Patton, Layden Mole, and Isaiah Maxey. Then it's Parker Dunn and Bentley McCann, Gabriel Payne and Nico Santos, Colin Harden and Mason Ward, Carter Dodd and Liam Codd, and TNSing was Thomas Anthony. They're all set and ready to go as they slow on down. Several parents trying to tell them to slow down. Did we get the green? Yes, we did. We're underway with Laser already laser focused up front.
Yeah, Lucy and Laser already with a really good start to start off this one out. Landon Boer as well. He had a good start. Hold on to his position there in second after starting on the outside. Everybody else single foul all the way through. Patton, Benjamin, all single foul as they go up the hill and onto the back straightaway here. We'll see how it all plays out as this race continues to go on. And again, I expect this battle to be a lot closer than what we've seen so far across other 206 categories today.
See if that lives up to the billing, especially with Buher right now trying to put it wheel to wheel, trying to battle for battle. We've seen him talk about him for the championships later on, or earlier on the day, should say. Right now, Laser having a position where you have to wonder if this is the day where he breaks through for a win, because he's been on the podium so many times. He's been a runners-up, he's been a bridesmaid much of the season, but on the championship front has not been a breakthrough for a feature win, or a final win, should say, or a heat win. Does that change today is the question. Well, Buher tries to change that equation with a race lead swap. He makes the move into the 180.
Yeah, good move there by Landon Buer to get through. And again, we talked about it all weekend long here, Justin. That is one of the most favorite passing zones on the racetrack, and Buer kind of showing why. So he's not going to get to the lead of this race. That MPG Academy Kart Republic going to lead this field away.
Yeah, now for Laser, it's back to a bridesmaid position just like that. They do have a bit of a buffer by 6-7 tenths, though, over Carson Benjamin. Benjamin, one of the late additions for the series, didn't start racing until round 6 in the 206 juniors. See the top two trying to find a way to make it just them. Bump draft away and make it where they limit the chances of the variables. That's what the factor has to be, right? The less carts you have to deal with, the more chance you can run well for a race win.
Yeah, indeed. So we'll see how it all plays out here in this race. But again, when you look at lap times here, Buer and Laser have been the quickest out there on the racetrack, and already catching up to some lap traffic, it seems like here. That driver's going to go around. Wow. I'm not sure if that was Codd or who that was that just went around
Dodd.
there.
Yeah, that was Dodd, I believe. Wow. And that's really accordion the race leaders, and forced another chance to send back Buher. Wants it back. Takes it back.
Yeah, what a wild sequence of events there. Landon Buer able to get back up to the lead of the race. Laser's up to second in that new gen machine. And Benjamin getting a lot closer to your top two here. So the top three within the same bit of real estate here on the racetrack. And we'll see this time around, just under 2 minutes to go left in this race. Landon Buer still leads them away, but it's very, very close here.
Coming up to about a minute to go this upcoming time by. And now the urgency has to be picking up, to say the least, to be able to set the tone and the order for the final later on today. Already Laser staying aerodynamically low and trying to push things forward for Buher. Try and get away from Carson Benjamin. Benjamin still in the popcorn seat, though, with less than 50 seconds to go.
time running out here for everybody on the racetrack. Maybe 3 laps to go this time around. So we'll see how it all plays out here. Boer looked like he had a little bit of a moment there on the exit, able to hold on to it. Laser, the driver, in second. They're going to go side by side. Laser looking to get creative here. Stuck on the outside. Boer on the inside. Going up to the back straightaway, and now Benjamin going to look to get himself back into the mix. The top 3 not leaving any bit of real estate out there on the racetrack for each other. And it seems like Boer just has that little bit more gearing on that back straightaway, and that will give us the implication that Laser should be quicker here in the infield sections.
And the problem is the infield sections have been the hardest place to pass today. Right now, Laser able to keep close, but these straightaways still have been to the command of the 820. Down to a couple laps to go on scoring. Now trying to pressurize more mistakes. Laser staying laser to the back end for the time being. Trying to wait to see if there's going to be any slip up, any chance to dime in the corner, any chance to get alongside. The answer is right now, stays close. There's the move. There's the block. Boer goes defensive. And they go back single file. They stay single file now for the third sector.
Yeah, smart there by Landon to go defensive. Didn't want to give them any bit of breathing room, but now Lucian going to look on the outside, looking to set up some sort of over-under move. Going to go side by side on the exit. Lucian with a great exit there, and you see what the gearing does for him and set that up perfectly. Lucian Laser coming to the white flag this time around. The final lap underway. That new gen machine, your new leader.
But for how long? Boer gets alongside for the hillside. Side by side now for the left side of the racetrack. Laser preferred line to the right. No diamond from Boer. Now they make their way out of the bank curve. A push now from Benjamin. A poke for Boer. No chance for the block for Laser. Side by side for the 180. Boer sends it. Pinches out. Laser now having to focus on a battle for second. Benjamin takes second. And now it's down to Benjamin versus Boer. Boer looking on a shallow line defensive. Benjamin trying to build up the run. One final sector. One final stretch. Checker flag waves. It's going to be Boer over Benjamin. Laser finishes third.
What a wild race there. The top 3 juniors really showed their pace all race long. Landon Boer take a bow. He was tried throughout that race there, Justin, but able to come out on top. Took him a lot, and you see team owner Chase Jones very happy with his driver there in that one.
Exciting finish for the front runners there. One of our best finishes of the day, you could argue. Boer over Benjamin and Laser. Oh, then it is Maxey, your top 5. Patton and Dunn, Ward and Harden, Payne and Santos, McCain, Codd and Dodd round out the run. Dodd is the only one who finishes a lap down in the race. So that was an interesting twist and turn for the 206 juniors after some spectacular racing. So those karts now move their way off the racetrack and now get things squared away for 206 Masters. 206 Masters had 13 drivers take part in qualifying. They now take to the racetrack right here and now. On the pole, J. Brian Williams, the only person in the 51-second bracket this morning. Then Scott Hamble, Melvin Godsey, Troy Toney, Kyle Landon. Then Eric Spilling, Ray Ruiz, then Andy O'Gara in 8th. BJ Snetler alongside Michael Schaefer, Gary Lynn, and Kenneth Owens. Then rounding out the field, John Dorsey. Your 13 karts in this one. So they get all lined up and ready to go for this race. Reminder once again to follow on with the actions at the racetrack. Be sure to go to the Whiteland Raceway Park Discord. Keep an eye if there's anything you need to be aware of. If you're at this facility today, once again, these drivers looking for track position for the finals today to be able to battle for the podium. back to win turkeys, large, medium, and Cornish hens. Butcher chickens, of course, a part of those prizes later. Part of today's turkey run, so to speak. Green flag is out. We're underway. Hamble and J. Brian Williams side by side to start things off. Neither side give it in.
Yeah, everybody getting their elbows out here early on in this race, and that's one of the key things, right? We talked about Heber in his respective race and getting their elbows out as well. Jorge Ruiz in the back of the top 10 as well, getting his elbows out, but a little bit of change up at the front. One of the new gen machines is going to lead away in that operation, obviously based out of Indiana, racing very often there in Whiteland, Indiana, as well as Newcastle Motorsports Park. So a big contingent for the new gen team here this weekend, and more action. The lone Coyote here, who sits in second for Hamble. Again, a driver who's had a lot of pace so far this weekend. He finds himself in second, losing touch a little bit here with Williams.
So a lot of shuffling among some of those drivers right now. Just a minute burned off the clock so far. We'll see how the battling really goes here in our second to last heat race of the day. Hamble needing to close up a fair amount of ground to close up, needing 4 or 5 kart lengths. Get to the rear end. Godse looking now. Not able to peek around though fully as he stays in the line. And we've seen Godse in particular be very sporty several times this season. Godse going to be someone to keep an eye on throughout this one today. Godse has been in the conversation for podiums multiple times as of late, including a second place run in round 10.
Yeah, good results for those couple of drivers as well throughout the variety of rounds. And again, you talk about people who are in here for the championship, and a lot of drivers that are just here for one race. I see a couple of others there further back in the field. Ruiz, some sort of issue for him down in 12th. I believe out of this race early for Jorge Ruiz. If he hasn't already crossed the finish line. Unfortunate there for the JM Racing New Gen machine. Out of this one, just crossed the stripe, so he had big issues throughout this one in 13th. Couple of movers here. Everybody up a spot. Andy O'Gara up to 7th so far in this race for the track owner and racer here this weekend. For JB Williams, still pulling away from the rest of the field to 52.880. Hamble in second. Godse, your top 3.
Past the halfway point on the clock. Now, see what the square away is, because Hamble's closed up the gap indeed. Now, see if the patience game is on. We've seen late race surges before, after all, based on the setup and based on the gearing before. This time, a push from Godse, trying to help out Hamble a little bit. Hamble able to reach out and nearly get to the back end of J. Brian Williams. And I always wonder what the J stands for, honestly, in this name, in this context. It's always been just the initial J in front of the Brian Williams when it comes to this season.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to, I guess, do our research there to try and I guess find it. So we'll see what it is. It could be, I don't know if this is the same. I literally just opened my phone and went to Instagram here. Jumbo Brian Williams, maybe. I see somebody with the name of that related to, I guess, the go-kart community. So it could be that. I am not sure, though, for J. Brian Williams.
Well, something for another day, just a seed, because you know why? Hamble just planted the seed for the race lead and grew it. He's now into the lead. Hamble making the move for the 180. And now it's J. Brian Williams shuffle back to second. Godse stays in the popcorn seat. Now a sent back for Williams. Crossover tech for Hamble. Still 35 seconds to go on the clock, and they're racing like cats and dogs are fighting it out.
Still continuing to fight, and again, for JB Williams, doing a good job to hold on to his lead, but hot on his heels for Hamble and Godse. Tony as well is looking to join the mix here. He's way back, about 2 seconds back, but looking to make up some time. And we'll see a good run on the back straightaway, and Williams knows it, going to defend to the bottom of the racetrack. Hamble looking to set up an over-under, and still looking on Williams and continuing to go side by side all the way through the sweeping left-hander here now. Can't get on the inside there for Hamble. Now more drivers are going to start to get in the mix. Everybody continuing to fight.
Still having a wrestling match up front. Clock reaches zeros. 2 laps on scoring. Will they keep it going is the question. Brian Williams has been able to keep on going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Hamble has been able to go fourth on some of the aggression as of late. Looks like, based on the distance, might be a last lap situation. He needs help from Godse to be able to have a chance to set things up, time things up just right, to be able to battle for this race win.
Still timing things out here and continue to stay in a single file line. This time around, JB Williams looking to hold on, amble around the outside. Godse as well, looking to get himself back into the mix, but I tell you what, Tony's gap is closing in by the second. Almost at under a second this time around, so we'll see if they can get any closer as the final lap now underway.
Final time around as they make their way through Sector 1. Right now, Brian Williams starting to build up a buffer. Lap traffic ahead, lots of lap traffic ahead, in fact. All right, the traffic moving to the left side of the racetrack. That ends up helping out Williams be able to build up more time on the racetrack. Build up some separation now. Heading through the final corners. Hamble trying to find a way to boost fast. Trying to find a way to close up within 2 more kart lengths. One more driver, and Owens trying to move out of the way. Moves all the way off the racing groove. Checker flag gets ready to display here. And in the end, it's Williams over Hamble, Godse, Tony, and Landon, your top 5.
A race of patience all the way to the end there, Justin, it seemed like. But, man, for JB Williams, able to get it done there in the end.
Brian Williams able to get it done indeed. For him, that is now going to be 5 consecutive races, including heat races. He's picked up a victory. He hasn't finished lower than first since round 9 when he finished 3rd step of the podium. The last time Troy Tony picked up a final victory. Eric Spilling in 6th, then O'Gara, Snetler, Schaefer, Ruiz, then Lynn, Owens, and Dorsey, your 13 on track. So those karts now make their way off the racetrack. 1 more class to go before we restack them for the finals and reset the formations. It's KA Senior, KA Master coming up to be able to close up the heat portion of the day once again. That'll be about race 20 on the docket per the official timing and scoring today. It's been a busy one in terms of all the sessions. So we'll wait for a moment here as they get themselves regathered up and ready to go. They are due on track in the next minute. Time to let them loose. On the track, Race Liberante leading the way for this field. AJ London second. Blake Finley and Carson Sauter. Then Lane Gibbs and Raider Santos. 7th spot goes to Braden Rudder. Then Casey Perry in 8th. Macy Gallion starts 9th. And Braden Heber rounds out the entries for this field. Double duty in the afternoon for Heber, by the way. After starting things in the morning with 1 race, he is in 2. With small separation of a few minutes between his classes this afternoon. Your Masters class sees Josh Owen, Josh Ona Nelson over Kevin Samanelik. So they enter the tram lines and get doubled up and ready to go racing. Get happy with us for the Indy Karting Challenge here on Kart Chaser. The green flag is out, and we're underway for our final heat race of the afternoon. Already much of the field getting single filed out. How long does that last? Already a poke for Lund on race Liberante. Trying to go the long way around. Liberante with the elbows out. That forces the battle for second. Finley not even a poke fully through the door. Now they're going through the straightaway. Four side by side. Liberante wants the lead back. Nearly gets pinched off the racetrack trying to do so. And now already seen a lead change already after some aggression building up there.
Yeah, good start so far for a couple of drivers. Obviously, race losing that spot early on in this one. AJ Lund, the driver, is going to be able to get up there and take the lead away from race. Carson Sauter in third. You go back a couple, Finley to Gibbs, your top five in this race. Heber already up a couple of spots up to eighth. So a good spark by Heber to get himself up into the eighth spot. Everybody else there further back. Liberante going to look to try and go back here on the back straightaway. We'll see if he has enough run. And not enough that time for race. Again, everybody else getting stacked and packed here further back. Sauter as well as Finley getting much closer together in that battle for third. Starting to heat up here.
They're swapping back there for third spot. Still swapping. One kart is off the racetrack. You see them watching along. Liberante trying to race along here. 11 on track for the time being. Right now, Liberante staying within a kart length for the time being as they make their way through Sector 1. Third spot right now, Finley, Sauter, and Gibbs. All amongst those fighting back and forth, and are not working together to get up to this group from what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, they continue to fight and obviously not falling into their hands here one bit. But we'll see how it plays out. Finley, Sauter, and Gibbs. So 3, 4, and 5 on the racetrack. And race looking a lot closer to AJ Lund than he did the lap before. But again, Justin, you made a really good point. The place where people have struggled to pass the most has really been this infield section with how tight and twisty all these corners are.
Yeah, it's been all down to, if you want to get the pass done, it has to be down the one specific straightaway, it seems, out of the bank curve, get the draft lined up, get to the right side, make the move before it switches over in terms of the racing groove, and you're golden. But the thing is, that takes a lot of work in the first place in the ebbs and flows of this track just to get in position to be able to get that run that we're talking about here. Still 2 minutes to go in this race. But it's been very difficult to be able to get in the right position at the right time to make these passes.
Yeah, it's been critical here, and again, I really think that's the spot where kind of races, I wouldn't say struggling here, but just finding it a little bit harder to get past AJ Lund. So we'll see 2-3 car lengths in between Liberante and Lund as they get onto the back straightaway now. Not close enough for a race that time around.
Not close enough indeed right now, but continue to watch along for the time being. Here comes Liberante, a small peak this time on Lund, but not a realistic one. They're running 45-second lap times, by the way, for those wondering in terms of the average pace. They are zipping and zooming and setting their personal bests on the racetrack. Liberante set the fastest lap of the race by nearly a tenth of a second, despite not being able to get alongside Lund. Now, should see by the time we come around to the flag stand, 3 maybe laps to go based on the time here. Oh, Lund just about grip flipped it over, going 3-wheeling. Liberante stayed more planted.
Yeah, a lot of grip in that corner, and again, we talk about the Rhino lining and the Rhino patching as well on the racetrack. It's a quite bumpy racetrack because of all the changes obviously made to it in the past couple of years, but Again, still a lot of grip, but honestly, I think Lund is kind of dealing with it because of the other differences in the racetrack as well, where maybe grippy in one spot, but if you have, if you're freed up enough for the 8 minutes, then you should be in good hands when you get down to the main event. We'll see what Race can do here on the back straightaway. That gap, about 3 car lengths. Not enough here for Liberante, catching him by surprise. That's a slick move there by Race.
I believe he jumped over the curbing to get that done as well. How about that on the aggression? Now Lund wants his lead back. Liberante playing defensively already. Now cuts back in front. Liberante in front, 2 laps to go was the estimate. 2 laps to go on the scoring. Now Lund trying to find his way back in front of Liberante after leading most of the way. Now all the way to the back end. Liberante trying to pressurize him loose.
Everybody getting stacked and packed now. Race Liberante going to the bottom of the racetrack, looking to defend AJ around the outside. Here comes Finley as well in the top cart in third. Starting to close down his gap, looking to go back. AJ looking on the inside. Race on the outside, drops the tire into the grass. Race Liberante. That was a wild one there for Race. He's going to have some help, though. Carson Sauter has rejoined the top pack.
Final time around here, and all of a sudden, Lund looks comfortable after the grass moment for Liberante. We'll see if that ends up getting looked at with race control after or not, but it is 6-7 kart lanes. Right now, Lund looking to finish out strong. Liberante getting passed now by Gibbs. Gibbs having one of his best. In fact, this is now his best run of the season. A chance for his first second place run for the points leader in either a heat or a final. Coming up to the checker flag here, it's Lund who will take the win on the track, but it's Gibbs who gets some critical points in second. Liberante rounding out the top 3 on the track. Finley, Sauter, Perry, Santos, Braden Hebert, Gallion, the drivers in the KA Senior. Nelson is in front right now over Samanelik and taking the win in KA Master. Well, how about that battle? All it came down to was just some aggression, some timing, and a mistake with Liberante.
Yeah, that was for sure. Well, then again, Race was stuck there on the outside. AJ just caught him by surprise again, and it was the same thing that Race did the lap prior. It looked like Race wanted to hold on to it around the outside and just ran off the road there. Unfortunate for Race. So we'll see how it all progresses later on today. Again, main event action getting set to come your way here in a couple of moments.
Indeed, we'll take a step aside for a quick moment. More action coming up. You're watching Kart Chaser from Whiteland, Indiana.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this Brandon business, okay? Brandon this, Brandon that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats, they got MXCs. And if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental US over $200, that's free shipping.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the AKR Anonymous meeting over there?
Dude, I'm doing a commercial.
Dude, we have no time. It's about to start.
Stop. We all love Shop AKR. Me? More than others. What do I get at Shop AKR?
MXC rims.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today. Looking for a team with a diverse calendar? How about a team that offers both full support and teaches you and your kid how to do all the work yourself? For us at Drive Your Line Kart Sport, fostering growth on and off the track in a family environment is what we do. Well, that and bringing home some hardware. Contact us today online at dylkartsport.com.
Hello, do you have a power bank or Mophie? A power bank in your car? Can I borrow it? Can you bring me it? My phone's getting ready to die, and I'm listening to the kart chaser talking as I'm broadcasting. Cam 3, out in the by the Kubota. I'm to the left of the Kubota, or to the right. Sarah, I think Sarah was the last one to drive it. It's either in it or, yeah. But, yeah, I don't have power. Alright, thank you. And a cord if you have one. Alright. Either one. Whatever works for the Mophie. What's the Mophie take? Is it USB or USB-C?
Welcome back, everyone, to more coverage of the Indy Karting Challenge here from Whiteland, Indiana, and Whiteland Raceway Park. To follow along with the action on social media, go to Whiteland Raceway Park social media on Facebook, at RaceWRP on Instagram, and at Whiteland Raceway Park on YouTube. To search the website, go to racewrp.com. Oh, and don't forget, if you want to follow along with the Discord, there is a QR code on screen to be able to sign up for the series Discord and follow along with the race information as drivers see fit across the racetrack. Just about a minute or so away from the start of our finals here on Kart Chaser. Just Prince, Caleb, Biesca setting up for this one. 206 Sportsman, 206 Cadet, 206 Medium, 206 Junior, 206 Masters, and KA Senior Masters are all due up this afternoon as we race our way into the early evening. And it should be a fun time to battle it out, to see what happens, to see what these drivers have in store here. Your thoughts after the heat races, Caleb, as we get ready to go final racing.
Yeah, a couple of the big things that we saw there earlier on today was, we saw some breakaways throughout these heat races in the afternoon, and that's not what we saw in the morning session. So it was quite surprising to all of us. And again, as far as racing goes, we like to keep it interesting. If I'm totally honest, I don't want to see breakaways because I wanted to keep it interesting from a TV side of things. But for those of you, for those drivers that were quicker than the rest of the field, absolutely deserved, right? They put themselves in a good spot and good situations to run away with it. But we'll see how it all plays out here today.
Should be an interesting time for the races. We have reached 410. We'll see if the drivers get the command to roll onto the racetrack here, or if we have an air moment or so before they get going. Once again, 206 Sportsman is due up first. Keep in mind the wind conditions are picking up a little bit. Our peak today is right now for weather temperatures, by the way, 63 degrees Fahrenheit. We started at a very cold 40 degrees earlier on in the day. A lot has changed as the day has progressed. But it's time for 206 Sportsman. Remember, Dominic Gaddis leading that championship standings right now. All he needs to do is finish the race, and he can get himself a championship. Anything less than 150 points could be interesting on the season. He is 155 up. Or rather, 165 up now in the standings. How their order looks like such for this final. It's Dominic Gaddis, Austin Taylor, William Feinsteiner. Then it's Dalton Sears, Titus Roberts, Jordan Lapham. Then it's Kason Hendrickson, Lam Stoner, Lincoln Willie, Kyle Kane. Then Cooper Mull, Light Salmonellic, Chase Call, Nolan Wade, Max Seal, Miles Snetler are the drivers, how they run. And green flag is out. We're underway for our first final of the day, the 206 Sportsman.
Already off to a good start for Dominic Gaddis, not looking back one bit, pulling away, putting 3 car lengths on the field already.
And a breakaway to start things off, but we remember we've seen before drivers like Taylor and Gaddis be able to work together on the breakaway. Sears not afraid to swap back and forth either. All at Feinsteiner, a bunch of those drivers up at the front of the field. 5 kart lengths, the difference now make it 6 as Gaddis trying to set a breakaway to set the tone early.
Yeah, big breakaway here for Dominic Gaddis. Taylor still sits in the second spot there, looking to make amends of the gap his teammate has already put on the rest of the field here. Going to be a big ask here for Taylor to try and close down that gap. About half a second down so far in this race. Feichtinger sits in third. Sears to Roberts, your top 5. Hendrickson in 6th. Lapvin in 7th. That's a close battle there further back as well. Those drivers, you see them kind of go through as well. But your top 3 in MPG Academy lockout.
Yeah, right now setting things the tone, to say the least. Right now, Gaddis the fastest of them right now. Feinsteiner looking to try and bring the fight, though, to Taylor. Remember, these races, 9 minutes plus 2 laps for the finals today, rather than the 8 minutes for much of the season. So they added an extra minute based on the timing these drivers could work with on the racetrack for the finale. Still, though, it's about how well you finish out this season. If you want to do well for the championship, it's been an interesting twist and turn so far to see how things have shaped out. These 4 in front, should say, really solidifying things for what they've been able to do today by more than a second and a half the gap now.
Yeah, that gap, I mean, staying quite steady now, and I think could be even an MPG Academy lockout of the top 4. Sears, the driver in 4th there with the MPG Academy livery there as well on his Kart Republic. So a good showing for the boys of Chase Jones, Race Liberante, and Billy Vincent here this weekend. That's exactly what they want to see with their 4 drivers up ahead. But I tell you what here, Dominic Gaddis is getting closed in by Taylor, who's at a car length away, and Taylor now going to look for a move if he does get out of line. And we'll see, he's going to stay in line this time around, but we have a fight on our hands here, Justin.
Yeah, starting to battle it out a little bit more. After having a sizable gap before, once again, once the gap gets to the point where you get within drafting distance, These karts, for some of these drivers we've seen, the reel-in effect is real. Taylor nearly to the back end, that time of Gaddis. We'll see if he plots and plans or just wants to go.
Yeah, we'll see what Taylor decides to do as this race continues to go on. 2 car lengths in between Gaddis and Taylor, and these are 2 drivers who have put themselves on the national scene as well late this year. Dominic kind of burst out on the scene, as well as Taylor. I believe both of them running the final round of the Stars Championship Series with the big MPG contingency that was out there that weekend. So these 2 drivers for sure have starting to show their pace across the national level and making their names known as well. I know Fike Tinger was out there running at the CKNA Grand Nationals, so good to see him back here this weekend. But a lot of pace and a lot of drivers, a lot of class coming out of Whiteland, Indiana, with what we talked about earlier here, Justin, IndyCar drivers, and the list goes on and on of the star power that's come out of this racetrack. So it's cool to see now Andy and Sarah O'Gara both owning this racetrack. I know Sarah, formerly known as Sarah Fisher, IndyCar driver herself. So their son Danny was out there on the racetrack earlier on today. I know Andy is out there in one of these sessions, but for this MPG Academy based track for Chase Jones, Race Liberante, Billy Vincent, they've done a good job developing these boys, as you see them now just running away with this 206 Sportsman race.
And it becomes the huge question of which one of those drivers in the end gets the upper hand. It's not quite as simple as, let's flip a coin. No. You want to race it out on the racetrack, right? So it's down to who's going to be the best of the best in terms of how they drive. And we've seen Gaddis just today be really solidifiedly focused on this racetrack, it seems.
Grandpa, I'm gonna come right by you. Okay, stay down there for a minute. Hang on.
Yet again, a bump draft. To be able to solidify things up in the back straight away. Taylor seems to be knowing one thing. Wait until it's too late for Gaddis to respond, almost, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, he's using this as a kind of learning session. Obviously, these drivers have definitely had a lot of time learning off of each other across many practice sessions here at this racetrack. The thing that I find interesting is for Taylor to bide his time and to kind of learn and to see different places where he could try to go for a move on Dominic Gaddis as this race continues to go on. So it's going to be a game of patience here for Taylor, sitting back in second and depending if he wants to be the hunter or be the one hunted at the end of it. And the same goes for Gaddis, right? Does he want to be in control to the end of this race? And it almost seems like you do want to be in control because there's so minimal passing places here. I think Race Liberante showed us you can pass throughout this corner right here. The left-hander leading on to this quick right-hander section on the sweeping left-hander here that saw a race go off the racetrack. So we'll see how it all kind of plays out here in this one. But for Taylor, still sitting patient here with Dominic Gaddis, not attempting all too much. And we'll see how it plays out here, Justin. But again, it's a game of patience. It's a game of high-speed chess from here on out.
Under 2 minutes to go on the clock right now with a high-speed chess match. Continuing with Gaddis holding serve in front, so to speak, like a tennis match as well. Taylor, though, has the deck of cards, has the board in front of him to be able to plot, plan, decide when the best course of action would be to be able to go on the send. And obviously when you're your teammates, you don't want to be uber aggressive because then we'll have to speak with that teammate again. You don't want to end up making enemies within your own team.
Yeah, as well. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that we talk about week in, week out. And of course, Chase Jones and that entire team has definitely made their drivers understand, they're in it for the same goal. They're in it to win a race, and they're in it to do it for the team at the end of the day. And again, as much as you say that, you're a racing driver at the end of the day. The reason you race, the reason you come to a weekend every single time, the reason that your parents come out here and spend all the money for you to race is for you to win. So Taylor's definitely going to want to come out here and win, and they're going to keep it fair. They're going to keep it clean. And again, expect a battle all the way to the end for both of these drivers. And Dominic Gaddis already with a lot of wins to his name. Taylor as well, looking to get himself in the mix and get himself a couple here today.
Still though, 30 seconds to go, should be about 3 to go. This time by based on the timing. Taylor's got some good draft in his kart still to be able to close up down the straightaways. By the way, of note, Lapham has fallen down to 6th spot. Titus Roberts has been able to jump up to the 5th position.
Yeah, that battle further back seems to be pretty good as well with those drivers there in 3rd and 4th. Another MPG Academy lockout. It's going to be an MPG Academy lockout of the podium places here. Feichtinger in the orange helmet, still leading this group away. Sears, the driver with a USA helmet there in the 4th spot, finds himself there still in tow. So we'll see how it plays out for 3rd and 4th. And again, battles further back in the field. This time around, I believe 2 sticks in the air. 2 laps to go left in this main event. And indeed, 2 flags waving up as well. 2 rolled up flags, I should say, waving up, which is why I say sticks instead of flags. But 2 sticks in the air this time around. Gaddis and Taylor still working together. And again, I think it's going to be a matter of a last lap battle here. Taylor looks really patient with it.
Still remaining patient, still waiting for possibly the final lap. We've seen him just ride and take the second before. Does he take the chance to win the final race of the season, though? That's a huge question. 206 Sportsman coming up to the final lap here, or should be coming up to that point. Final lap is the trigger now. Gaddis and Taylor to decide it. They work through Sector 1.
It's going to be close all the way through. I mean, we've seen Gaddis win already, a couple looking to hold on to the championship here, and Taylor looking content to push him on for now. We'll see if Taylor even attempts to make a move on this back straightaway. Again, expect it here. How much is Dominic Gaddis going to defend? He goes to the bottom of the racetrack. It's all going to start to heat up here. Taylor on the outside looking to set up that over-under move. Looking to get it done around the outside. Taylor's able to get clear. How about that for Taylor? What a move.
Taylor takes the aggression, pulls off and away with it. After remaining patient, plotting and planning all race and several times this season, he'll take the win and celebrate, beating Gaddis by 0.081 seconds. Feichtinger in 3rd spot. Sears and Roberts, the top 5. Lapham, Kane, Stoner, Mole, and Willie round out your top 10 in the field. And how about that finish? Taylor plotted and planned, and he took it for the win.
Yeah, what a race from start to finish. I mean, both those drivers, that's exactly what it takes to kind of go out there and fight for a race victory like that. They did it the best way possible, pushing each other along, pushing each other to the end, and fighting when that white flag came out. That's how you do it. You know, that's how you make it a mano-a-mano battle, a heads-up battle when you get to the end of it.
Rest of your finishing order: Simon Ellick, Hendrickson, Wade, Zeal, Call, Snetler. The rest of the running order for these drivers and how they closed up. Again, separation up to 47 seconds. And our next grouping, I laugh because you can tell how eager they are to move and get out of the gates. Still about a few seconds before the 206 cadets are to get the command to be able to roll. They are very eager to get to their final.
I never knew that they locked him in like this at Whiteland, Indiana. That's, I guess, a cool thing to see here. Yeah, this is probably one of a kind. Full-on gates, full-on enclosed. And then you open the gates, almost like a horse race, getting set to go out onto the racetrack.
They should be on the track for the next few seconds or so here to be able to get racing. And remember, Hunter McBride made a run for it last race. James Fox, though, could open up an interesting box because Fox, last time out, ended up closing up half the gap that McBride built up. We'll see if that happens here or if there's enough time for Fox to make it a battle at the end. Hunter McBride, James Fox the front row, McNeely, Waite the top 4, Hall, Heinzen the top 6. It's Hale and Maxwell. Geist, Hendrickson was a DNS. Same for Rittenhouse in the last race. So our second of our finals getting ready to go as these cadets, they need to make sure they're in the tram lines as they zoom on through the stop sign. Yeah, that was a big separation for these drivers to speed their way up to where they need to be able to double up.
Yeah, a little bit too quick there. We'll see if they get the green flag. I doubt it this first time around. Indeed, one more formation lap getting set to go underway.
Yeah, there's way too many gaps there. What are you keeping an eye on the most for the 206 cadets here?
Look, I mean, we saw it earlier on today in the heat race. McBride was a class of the field running away with it, so expect to see that. And I hope somebody's able to take the fight to him. But at the moment, it looks for a race of it looks like McBride's race here.
So we warm up the tires still. One more pace lap here. A very fast-paced lap. They're almost running race pace side by side right now. And we'll see if they're able to slow back down again properly for the tram lines coming up. Oh, and they're really shuffled out now. They got to regroup in pretty quickly by the time they get to the straightaway. A lot of eager beavers, you can say, in terms of eagerness to be able to get themselves going for the race.
That's got to be a Canadian term, man.
I am Canadian. I mean,
short and sweet.
It
short
fits.
And sweet.
Oh, and half the field is not gathered upright. And now we're coming to a dead stop. Well, that's a way to get them sorted.
Yeah. This is what they do for kid karts, man, and at the cadet age should have it down already.
See how they handle this start. Flags are in hand, and now they're bringing out additional staff members.
There goes the big boss, Joe Janowski, as well, walking out. So, that's not a good sign if you're on that front row.
I think one of the carts turned off there. They had to turn one of the carts back on. And now they are checking something with Hunter McBride's cart. And you can tell at this point, I believe that's...
Yeah.
I mean, he was slowed down. It was the other lane that was at least 10 cart lengths ahead. Yeah, we've had one of the carts turn off. McNeely, you can see the hand gestures in response. And all you can say is they're extremely eager. They extremely want to race right now. And now they're still rolling with the flag stand watching at full command. Now they give them the command to roll. Let's see if they can do this here. And for those wondering, clock is not moving. So they haven't gotten the command, obviously, for this green flag. Caution flags are still on the track. Looks like this time they're running a little bit more safer on these pace laps, although they are starting to blend some of the lines again. So we'll try this again. It's been an entertaining affair to get things sorted. Let's see if they get it right for the start here. And already we've had to reorder the carts. At least one of the drivers had to reshuffle their order here, and we have an odd number of carts on one lane. Let's see what happens here as everyone's standing on their feet to see how this goes. And a lot of separation for the tram lines this time. Full 2 cart lanes just about. Tram line to tram line. Taking the slow roll. Will we get the green? Yes, we will.
And I think people were applauding as well there.
Green, green, green. We're back underway for racing. And the clock now moves. McBride over Fox. And already making a run for it. A lot of separation built up already. McBride having a great launch. Everyone else bogged down even after all the attempted starts there. Just not able to time it up right to be able to keep along with the 611.
Yeah, I mean, look at the gap already for McBride. This is a really good gap back to the rest of the field. Fox, the driver, in second. So we'll see if anybody can challenge.
Heinzen, by the way, has already jumped up to 5th. Wade has jumped up to 3rd as McNeely continues his descent. Grace Geis has dropped to the back of the field amongst some of the changes on the opening lap. So now that the tone's been set by trying to get the field ready on the start, what's going to the mind here? What we have for Fox? What adjustments can you make from the heat race to the final, with what we've seen with Fox being so quick at the end of the race and McBride being so quick at the start of it?
Look, we talked about it earlier, right? You talk about the difference in paces. It could really been a change in tire pressures. This is a big race, a long race to say the least, right? We're only about 2 minutes into this race. You have 7 minutes left. So again, staying with McBride is going to be the key thing here for Fox, and not falling off the pace is going to be key, right? You can have as much pace as you want, but you can't really lose any of that pace as this race goes on. So that's going to be one of the key things if you want that long run pace this time around. You're going to want that tire pressure, right? I would say that, you know, the key thing is whenever you talk about things that you can adjust, that you can fix, it's always driving. You know, there's always something on the driving, a turn-in point, a braking point that you can adjust every single time that you hit the racetrack. I know one driver just off the racetrack there further back in the field, but if you talk about adjusting something and fixing something, it's definitely got to be the driving just a little bit, and it just seems like Fox is much better on that back straightaway. And McBride, it's almost like he's able to pull away throughout the middle section of the racetrack, all the fast and twisty corners. So we'll see how this kind of goes on. But the 2 Top Kart USA machines very close together here in 2nd and 3rd, Justin.
Yeah, doing a good job being able to keep up as well with McBride for the time being. Lost a bit of ground in the last sector. But so far, they've been able to keep things at bay intriguingly amongst these front runners. Again, remember, for the championship conversation, for those wondering, Hodges entered today as the points leader in 206 Cadet. Already has the mathematical clinch no matter what happens today. McNeely, though, looking just to clinch up 2nd spot in that championship. McNeely running 4th at the moment. Still 5 minutes left to go here at this point. McBride, for reference, by the way, this is his first start of the season here at this racetrack. Talked about him earlier on with experience across the Ohio region. So far today has been looking very strong here in Indiana.
Yeah, very strong indeed. So we'll see how it plays out. You talk about the gaps now. It's just over half a second in between McBride and Fox. Wade sits back in third, and they're not pulling away as much as I thought here. McBride isn't really pulling like he was in the heat race prior. Again, we're going to go longer than what we ever have here in about 30 seconds time. So we'll see what Fox has in store.
Past the halfway point in this race. And every time they run down that front straightaway, it almost looks like there's a little mini jump with how the bumps are on this racetrack. We touched upon the bumps a lot today. Those bumps this time see McBride lose a fair bit of time after a personal best lap by James Fox. A 54.438. Fastest lap out of anybody so far. Look at that line for Fox. He's trying to use the banking as a ramp to build up the momentum this time.
Yeah, that was a really good line there by Fox to try and find something else, right? Getting creative and experimenting is really what he's going to need. I mean, he knows McBride is probably just that little bit quicker, that tick quicker, and going out and experimenting different things, seeing what's working, seeing what's not working is super critical here for Fox, and doing just that as well has been a really good job there for him to try and close down his gap. It opens up again as again this infield section, and again from what we were seeing out there on the racetrack, it seemed like Fox was much stronger throughout the back straightaway, and McBride was much stronger throughout this infield section.
Yeah, and right now it's going to be the question mark of does that continue? McBride, a way high line. High line. Fox still finding a way to get all the banking to build up the boost. The one thing is, Fox needs to keep that momentum both sides of the racetrack. I know that's a simple task to sound like. But right now, if there's a true shot to be able to make this a battle, you need to be strong in all facets of this race. You can't be bleeding time at one point to be able to gain it all back in the other. That's not going to lead to a pass.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, we've seen some drivers already today get creative and try different things out, but it's going to be a tall ask here for Fox to try and do something against McBride, who again, it just seems like Fox has that one good lap and then either makes a mistake or bobbles up or, makes a mistake on the revolutions of the kart, and keeping that momentum up seems to be consistency. I should really say is where Fox, I think, is lacking here just a little bit compared to McBride, but we'll see. That gap closes in tremendously on that back straightaway.
Now an air poke from Fox. Still under 2 minutes to work with here in this final. As they look to try and win themselves a turkey for the large turkey variety for the winner. Second place gets the medium turkey. Third place gets Cornish hen. Right now, the championship still solidified. Right now, it's just a matter of who's going to be able to get themselves that turkey. It's part of those frozen turkeys that have been put on ice. So now we look to see what happens here with the banking. That's just not going to work. It's not going to work fully unless he is right up there at this point. He loses a kart length every time he arcs it up there, it almost looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it could really work maybe throughout this race, but at the moment it just isn't, right? And for Fox, he's running out of time here. He's running out of options with 50 seconds left in this race.
Running out of options. We have a caution flag at the front straightaway. A kart, I believe, may have had an issue on the front stretch. So drivers are getting the heads up right now in that section. Still 30 seconds to work with on the clock, though, plus the 2 laps extra. The sun's now shining away as these drivers drive away from that point of the racetrack. And some of the others towards the back of the pack right now as well, with how they've been able to race it out. Some good battles, still keeping lockstep in some of the other groupings on the racetrack includes who's the Hall and Hale, should say, keeping close. And now one kart takes a wild ride off the track. Didn't see the number there. That was the battle on screen, believe, with Geist and Wade. Wade just went hard off the racetrack with 2 laps to go.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. That was down a straightaway.
Yeah, no idea how that could have been caused there. I think the 2-6 went up in the air this last time around, but big incident there further back. Wow. Loss of words for what happened there, really, Justin. But the battle for the lead starting to heat up again. Fox a lot closer to McBride this time around. A car length separates the two of them. We'll see, and again, it just seems like McBride is much stronger throughout that swooping left-hander where just Fox isn't able to close back down. We go on to the main straightaway. White flag in the air this time around, the final lap underway.
Final time around, and now lap traffic to deal with. I believe that's Geist amongst those in front right now. That is closing the gap. Now having to go to the left. Fox trying to peak right for a moment. Now trying to keep the peak and going now with the lap traffic moving to the left side and spinning itself out. Now it's the matter of, can Fox reel on in McBride? One more straightaway. Needs to close up 2 to 3 kart lengths to have a shot. Now the batter is going to be McBride, just keeping it clean. Keep it steady through this part of the racetrack. Still 2 kart lengths the difference. Fox not close enough to get alongside. McBride hasn't made a mistake all day. 2:06 Cadets final, or the final time this season, will go to McBride, getting it done over Fox. Does so by 4/10.
A good show in there for McBride to get it done. Fox across the line second. McNeely, your top 3. So for those top 3 finishers, don't forget to go get your turkeys and your chicken hens as well. So what a race, though, for McBride. Fell under pressure time and time again, but didn't crack.
So once again, McBride, Fox, McNeely, Heinzen, Hall, and Hale. Hendrickson, Geist, Waite, Maxwell, Rittenhouse, the running order. This race actually having 3 DNFs, but that thing snowballed in the 206 Cadets with a couple of the off tracks. So that's a look once again at your unofficial race results for 206 Cadet as the Cadets make their way off the racing surface. Do have an hour kart that's on the racetrack. That's currently a delay for our next grouping. You see that in the left-hand corner of your screen. Third of the way through the finals, and so far, we've seen a calm one. We've seen a hectic one, you could argue, for the mid-pack, despite a calm front. Now we'll see what happens. Some exciting battling here at this Indy Karting Challenge here today, here in Indiana.
No one's brought me home yet. I'm still here. No, Grandma's gonna pick me up. Alright.
Our next karts now hit the racetrack. It's 206 medium. Now getting themselves onto the circuit. Let's talk about how they will line up here today for 206 senior medium. Brendan Hebert's on the pole. Then it's Gavin Baird in second. Third spot, Jared Howerton. Brendan Johnson in fourth. Dylan Howerton in fifth. Jack Dorsey, sixth spot. Brendan Mayfield along with Ian Stillwell. Then it's Gunnar Enderlein and Nicholas Nostman. The rest of your order, DNSs, Spilling, Wilbur, and McCorkdale did not take part in the heat race earlier on in the day. So 206 medium, dialed up and ready to go zoom. Elijah Fox already mathematically with the championship by just a slim margin, by the way, of about 26 points. Green flag is out. We're underway for final number 3. Already Heber losing some ground, already getting shuffled back with Baird. Already a change for the race lead to start off this one. Off the opening tram lines in the starting blocks, Baird now looks to settle on in up front. Already the pushback from Heber. Heber wanting to poke, doesn't get the poke.
Yeah, not close enough yet for Heber. And again, this is a driver who's had a lot of track time so far today. We saw him earlier on today in the senior light race. He's back here double duty in this afternoon sessions with the KA. I was going to say KA Stars there. KA Senior and Masters, and obviously in this 206 medium class here. So doing a good job so far for Heber, and already looking to challenge for the lead of this race. Baird able to hold on.
Less than 8 minutes to go in this race. As they make their way through the sunshine, starting to get to the point of setting. In fact, temperatures expected to start to dip pretty soon from 63 degrees Fahrenheit. And Baird not getting drop kicked like earlier on in the races today. Showing some great fight here to be able to keep himself up front, but Heber, we know, does not like to sit idle per se. He likes to be in command.
Yeah, again, I mean, we'll see how long Heber wants to stay here in the second spot. You talked about it earlier, Justin. Heber likes to be in control of this race, right? He's going to want to get up to the point of this field at some point today and at some point in this race, right? He fell short earlier on today. He's definitely going to want to make up for it here in the afternoon. So we'll see what Heber can do. Again, sitting in the second spot with Baird, again, a driver who he raced earlier on today. So we'll see how it all plays out throughout this one. But, man, there you have it. Heber on the inside looking to take the lead of this race. Looks like didn't have enough of a run on that back straightaway. So Heber going to slot back in the line.
And keep in mind, this is all helping out Braden Johnson, who set the fastest lap of the opening couple of times around so far. Just in the popcorn seat. Jared Howerton, like in the last race, also maintaining at least somewhat drafting distance with these front runners. Right now, Heber looking for a place to slice and dice. 3 races for the 8 kart today, by the way. This is one of his best chances to pick up victories for the afternoon. The other one, he finished at the back of the field. Heber peaking, not able to get the run fully, having to reset.
Yeah, having a reset there. And again, it's just trial and error. It seemed like he looks on the inside time and time again, but just doesn't have enough gear to get himself past Baird, which could be an alarming kind of situation here for Heber. So if you talk about being in control, it's going to be critical for Heber to put himself in a really good spot when he gets to the end of this race.
Absolutely. We're coming up to 5.5 minutes to go in this one. Johnson starting to lose a bit of ground Never mind, gains it back up with a little bit of a late entry. And that's one of the main things, too, I've noticed is if you've got raw pace, you can easily get it back. A lot of these drivers have gained a lot of the time they've lost in some of these sectors with some aggressive entries. Heber looking aggressive to the inside. Again, backs down and doesn't try it fully.
Yeah, doesn't try it there. And again, when you talk about the gears here, I really think that's Heber's, biggest Achilles heel here in this race, right? You see it almost 3 laps in a row where he tries to go for a move on that back straightaway, just doesn't have the runner, doesn't have the push. And this is where I think Johnson's really going to have a lot to play for, to try and push Heber ahead of Baird and put himself up another spot and try to almost freight train Baird when they get onto that back straightaway. We'll see how it all plays out here, though. And again, we'll see if Heber can have enough run on this back straightaway to attempt it. He's going to stay in line this time. We'll see if he peeks out to the inside. And you see it there, just on the edge of the straightaway there, Justin. Baird opens up that gap just that little bit more and separates himself from the front bumper of Heber there towards the end of the straightaway.
Yeah, this is becoming a party fiesta almost with how they're starting to drive a little bit. Another 4 minutes to go on this clock. And now we'll see, can Heber poke again? Can Heber get the run again? It's been uber aggressive from Heber once again. Still no runs to get alongside quite yet, though. Baird still holding firm on the defense, not having to put up too many blocks now. Johnson getting a push now for Jared Howerton, by the way. So they are starting to try and work together in small tandems to try and sort each other out here.
Yeah, it's single foul line all the way for your top 4. And again, we'll see how it stacks up here. Looking for a move now. Johnson on the inside of Heber gets pushed off the racetrack. Howerton looked to get through. He's able to get clear. Jared Howerton, that is, up into the 3rd spot. Heber down a 4th. Dylan Howerton, the driver, in 5th, leading the pack there further back.
Still working their way in the main pack, mind you. Reset Dylan Howerton in 5th. Jack Dorsey doing well in this race, 6th. Now we've had Heber drop kick to the back at all this. Heber not having a great run that past start of the lap. Now here comes Johnson. Johnson now under attack from Jared Howerton. Howerton raises the hand, didn't like the squish out. Nearly peeled on out as now he goes for an aggressive move. Howerton moves to 2nd. Heber retakes 3rd.
Good move there by Heber to kind of stop the bleeding in that one. Johnson falls back to 4th. You got to be careful with how much you fight, though, throughout this race. You don't want to give Baird a big enough gap where you can just run away with it here. And again, this racetrack isn't one that really promotes that, but I think it has enough technical spots and enough technical corners where it is possible. But now Howerton looking to close in. You see that gap going to close in dramatically on this back straightaway with the draft here at Whiteland, Indiana. So we'll see. That gap closes in and everybody brought right back into play in the matter of half a lap.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like Baird's going to be able to hold on for much longer. Here we go. Side by side, Jared Howerton to the right. Left side, Baird gets zoomed by. Now Heber trying to retake 2nd, takes 2nd. Jared Howerton now to the point, looking for his first final win since round 3 early on in the spring here at Whiteland Raceway Park. Heber looking to try and get his 2nd straight finals win. Looks for a way to build back up the run. They've now dropped Johnson with how they've squared it away.
Johnson all the way back there. Losing a whole lot of time here in this one. Howerton still holds on. Heber now going to look for a move for the lead of the race and for the race win here. 3 laps to go this time when they cross the stripe. Just under 30 seconds to go left in this one. And as well for Baird. He's going to start to lose some time here to Howardson and Heber.
Should be coming up to 2 laps to go when they come up to the stripe based on the clock right now. This is about 3 laps to go. Heber now having a plot and plan instead of being on the aggressor. Had to fight and tooth and scratch and claw his way to be able to retake the second spot to be in this position again. Again, Heber electing to lift a little bit. Keep off the back end of Howerton as they come up towards 2 laps to go here.
2 laps to go this time around. A lot to play for here in this race. Heber looking on the inside, gets back in the line, thinks better of it. So we'll see. That driver in Heber, I mean, he fell short earlier on today and definitely going to want to get one done here in this one.
Definitely at this point. Lap and a half to go. Heber needs to be a lot more closer if he wants to be able to try and get a send on. Staying back by a kart length fully. The entry is where he's been able to really solidify a lot of the time gained, though. Entry to Apex. Picked up a lot of time in that 180 section. He's been a bit stronger there today. Let's go to the rider liner section. Should be seeing the white flag here coming up towards the final time around. Jared Howerton trying to hold back Braden Heber. White flag is out, final time around.
Heber with under half a car length separating him and Howerton. We'll see what Howerton can do to hold on to the lead of this race, and we'll see what Heber can do to try and get himself a main event race victory here in this one. That gap going to close down on the back straightaway. Does Heber have enough to get through? Is Howerton going to defend? He's not. Heber looking to send it on the inside. Howerton able to block. Heber still looking to set it up quite nicely here. But almost better for Howerton not to defend throughout that corner. He's able to hold on to this one. Able to hold on to the lead of this race. It's going to be a drag race all the way to the end. Heber side by side all the way throughout the main straightaway.
Side by side, this is for the win. Heber at the line, gets it. It is Braden Heber who gets the edge by 12 one-thousandths of a second. How about that from Braden Heber?
That was insane. They crossed the line and I had no idea who it was. And I'm pretty sure Heber doesn't even know at this point. I'm pretty sure Braden doesn't even know at this point that he won it until he got there. But man, what an end to that race there. Side by side of the finish line. Are you kidding me, boys? What a way to keep it clean. What a way to get it done. Braden Heber is your unofficial 206 senior medium winner.
Heber over Howerton, Baird, Dylan Howerton, then Dorsey, Stowell, Nostman, Mayfield, Enderlade, then Braden Johnson did not finish this race. That's why he disappeared from the lead battle. We're now about halfway through the finals for this day. And as the last of the karts get off the racetrack, 206 Junior is due up next here on Kart Chaser. Our next grouping of karts now coming onto the racetrack as we get set for 206 Junior. Landon Buher starts on the pole. Buher over Carson Benjamin. Lucian Laser starts off in third. Layden Mole in fourth. Then Zayra Maxey in fifth. Evan Patton and Parker Dunn along with Mason Ward in eighth. Colin Hart and Gabriel Payne the top 10. Nico Santos starts 11th. Bentley McCann in 12th spot. Liam Codd and Carter Dodd. How they line up, Thomas Anthony was a DNS earlier. So just about ready to go for our fourth final of the day. Just as we turn the page to 5 p.m. Eastern. Green flag is out. Underway. Already Booher up in the lead as they bring up the smoke pumps and bring up the dust pumps. The top two looking to run away up front. Already a 2-kart breakaway with how things have settled out earlier on. The latter of the two in this is Laser. So Laser really wants to try and get that first win of the season for that championship campaign.
Yeah, Lucian really going to need a good result here in this one to try and end off his year on a high note, right? So Landon Boer, though, I mean, he showed his pace earlier on today throughout the heat race and did a really good job to hold on to that gap and to hold on to position as well. So we'll see if anybody can really realistically challenge Landon Boer in this race. And Laser has been right there with him every step of the way in that new gen Motorsports machine compared to the Kart Republic MPG Academy of Landon Boer. So these two drivers have really been the class of the field, and they're showing it here once again, just pulling away and putting on an absolute clinic here in this one.
Yeah, that clinic right now featuring these two still solidifying the tempo by more than a second and a half. They have ditched Benjamin, who, remember, the reason Benjamin was in good position was lap traffic. But Benjamin also had the pace to back it up in the long run from the heat race. It's going to take a lot of luck for Benjamin to rejoin the pack here with him back by 2 seconds with how things have shaped up.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tall ask, right? Benjamin obviously didn't get the start that he would have wanted, and lap traffic can only do so much for you. As more moves there further back in this second group, looks like that group is starting to fight here just a little bit, so we'll take a look back at that here shortly. And indeed, you have the Kubica Kart, the Burrell Art machine, starting to fight here a little bit. That's Benjamin there on the Kubica. Behind him in the Burrell Art machine, looks to be Mole. And you go back to Maxey and Ward, 5th and 6th respectively. Those drivers look to be fighting it out as well. So a good couple of battles there, and for the edge of the podium places here on your screen.
Side by side once again. Here comes Mole trying to go on a drag race. Side by side with Benjamin getting the edge. Benjamin lefts and lets him on go. So the 427, highest that Layden's been here today. Just ran his personal best of the race in the 52.7s to get the pass done on Carson Benjamin. Those top two, by the way, starting to separate because Booher is starting to now take off with his personal best laps of the race in the 52.4s to set the purple laps as we take a look at 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, we take a look back here at 3rd and 4th. Benjamin now losing a spot there. Mo able to get ahead. Mo able to get ahead the lap prior. Benjamin falls back to the 4th spot. It's like the Top Kart USA machine there of Ward now staying in tow, and Maxey as well in the 6th spot, able to get into the mix here. So your top 6, done a good job so far.
So far, so good in that regard. So 5 minutes to go. Just 5 minutes coming up to go on the clock here. Still have 206 Masters and KA Senior and Masters due up after this. Take a look up front still. And again, we talked about this with Laser already, with Evan Patton not here in the championship driver's seat, so to speak, or rather should say Patton not here in the main pack. For them outscoring Patton, it would be a disastrous finish if Laser doesn't get a top 10. That being said here, You still would think Laser will have one race where he breaks through this season. He's been close. He had a stretch of second place runs back-to-back in rounds 3 and 4. He seems to be having the best chance this season to be able to break that snide here in the finale on the way to the title.
Yeah, good job and a good way to end it here for these drivers up ahead. I mean, Boer and Laser, I really would not expect these two drivers to fight it out at all. We saw it earlier with the Sportsman final. They Gaddis and I believe it was Taylor in that one that worked together all the way to the end of the race and you know, put themselves in a mano-a-mano battle at the end of it. So I'm expecting the exact same thing as they work their way through lap traffic this time.
Lap traffic, no problem with that time by. Under 4 minutes to go in this race. Of note, Liam Kahn now a part of the DNF list. Now running 4 laps down in this one. That was Dodd, who was getting lapped previously. So the planning for Laser continues on here in his kart. Looking back again. Mole still in third. Maxey right now has a bit of a buffer over Ward in Pack 3. Pack 4 is Patton, Dunn, Santos, and Hardin that are all lined up as well. So just seeing these little forming packs start to come into play here with under 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, we'll see how it kind of all continues to progress here, but so far in this race, who's impressed you the most here, Justin?
Who's impressed me the most in the race or the day?
I would say in this race.
Well, obviously Booher has been impressive in the pace all throughout the day. Whenever we've seen that kart, it's been strong, it's been very talented, it's been very quick. But Laser's been the most impressive, I think, when you think of the whole context of the season that's been going on, and knowing how much of a fight it's been to score points, and knowing round 11 was disastrous with 11 place runs in that round that really put things into a question mark for today. So for the day in itself, Booher. For the season complexion, most impressive run of the year for Laser.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I'd really have to agree. Lucian Laser doing a good job here this weekend, and really continuing to put himself within a good spot to continue to fight like he has been all day long and like he has been all season long. And then you go further back here with Mo and company that, you know, are fighting for third here. They're doing a good job, you know, to try and hold on to it. They're being patient. They're kind of working with each other at this stage, and that's exactly what you need whenever you get into a national 206 race. Whenever these drivers do get ready to move up into that stage, it's going to be a lot like this, right? You're going to have to be comfortable running around with other people, be comfortable putting yourself in situations like they are now. So we'll see. I mean, they're doing a really good job of it so far here in this one, and again, laps are starting to run out. Time as well, running out. Just 3 laps to go left in this race.
Give or take. Remember, though, there's still less than 50 seconds on the clock. Might be at 3 to go at the stripe, based on the intervals.
This one plus 3, I'm going to say.
Yes. Yes. Still, though, take a look as Maxey staying with this pack for the 3rd spot. Also joined in the mix right now, Ward, believe that's in the mix of this. We've seen this train continue to almost add cars rather than subtract them, like we've seen much of the day so far. These drivers all evenly paced right now in the 52-second bracket.
Three laps to go this time around now, finally. And they're going to work their way through here, so we'll see how they all stack up as they get to the closing stages of this race here. Booer and Laser still working very well together, and I mean, this is exactly what we expected. This is exactly what we talked about as well coming in this race. You expected these two drivers to work together with the pace that they've had so far today.
Yeah, not a shock, once again, to see this today. Not a shock at all. But now, when does Laser go? When does Laser try it, is the better way to phrase it, on Booher. Come around, double flags that time by. 2 laps to go for these karts. Final 2 laps for the 206 juniors. And still in the setup phase, Laser, that's the most he's been willing to do. Just wait and plot and plan. Now it's defensive. Booher trying to squeeze, pushing Laser wide a touch. Laser held on to it in the grip.
Yeah, this is exactly what we expected here out of Landon Booher. Obviously not this early, maybe with this many laps to go, but this time around, Landon Booher looking to hold on. Lucian Laser looking on the inside now. And I think better of it, slot back in the line. This time, white flag in the air. The final lap underway for Landon Booher and Lucian Laser as they fight it out for the main event victory.
Can Laser get another chance to lunge? Staying close this time. It's a little bit closer than the last attempt. That was blocked off. Now Booher gets ready on the defensive line. Now goes blocking. Laser forced out left. Now will he try a diamond line? He does try something. Trying to poke out right. Cuts left. Hits a lot of curving. Now to the back number plate. Booher cuts back right. Blocks. Laser tries to pinch from the left. Laser slides to the Rhino liner. Losing ground at the very last corner. Booher takes the checkered flag and wins in 206 Junior.
What an end to that one. Landon Booher reigns supreme above the rest. Lucian Laser fell just short there in that one. Sure, Chase Jones going to be happy with that one. The Ironman himself as he sees his driver cross the line and taking the win here as well. What an end to that junior race. Let's run you down your results here as well. In that one, Ian Mole, I believe the driver who's able to come across the line in third. Leighton Mole, my apologies there. Across the line third, Isaiah Maxey, back to Mason Ward, Carson Benjamin, Evan Patton, Nico Santos, Colin Harden, Gabriel Payne, your top 10 in that one.
Rest of the running order features Parker Dunn, Bentley McCann, Carter Dodd, and rounding out your running order in this field was Liam Codd. Look top to bottom at the running order for 206 Junior. Still 2 more to go. And next up on the docket in just a moment, 206 Masters here on Kart Chaser. Back to the racetrack we go. 206 Masters now due up. Troy Tony looking to finish up the championship over Matt Geist. Geist not competing in the heat race, really solidifying that twist of the championship. J. Brian Williams, he's been outright dominant in the past couple weeks. He is in the lead for this race to start the pole. Scott Hamble and Melvin Godsey in the top three. Troy Toney in fourth. Kyle Landon, Eric Spilling, followed by Andy O'Gara, BJ Snetler, Michael Schaefer, Ori Ruiz, Gary Lynn, along with Kenneth Owens and John Dorsey. Round out the 13 entrants and 206 master. Well, J. Brian Williams keep things going in terms of momentum. We'll have to see what happens. On the roll through, green flag is out. Back to racing we go. J. Brian Williams already trying to clear himself, just about does, as Hamble having to get the elbows up for second.
Already everybody looking to get their elbows out here in this one and looking to hold on to their respective positions as the sun begins to set. So that is also going to change your track temperature here, Justin, and it's going to change the setup of things, especially if you're in that final heat race of the day with the sun continuing to come down from the horizon. You got to expect the temperatures to get a lot cooler than what they were before, and for these drivers as well, right? They're going to be the first ones to experience that, the first ones to experience the changes, the cooler temperature here as well. So we'll see. JB Williams was perfect earlier on today. We'll see if he can pick up right where he left off. Hamble lost his spot here in this one. He fell back to third. And a couple of others. Godsey is up to second. So we'll see how he shows up here in this one.
So they work their way around the racetrack. Still less than 8 minutes to go on the racetrack right now as they continue to zip along and zoom around on the racetrack. Still working their way as J. Brian Williams holds on in front. Hamble in third. Landon works around the fourth spot for the time being. Landon starting to get a little bit aggressive to the back end right now.
Yeah, we'll see the top two starting to break away here. JB Williams, Godsey pulling away from the rest of the field, so they're able to hold on to it quite nicely and doing a good job of it. Landon in fourth. You go back to Tony, Spilling, and Jorge Ruiz. A good start there for George to get himself up to seventh after having a spin there early on in the heat race, putting himself around and out of the race, putting himself back up to seventh. That's a good charge up the field for Ruiz.
Absolutely has been so far amongst this. Can Ruiz be able to move himself any further? We'll have to wait and see. But right now, Godsey looking for a send, takes a peek and turns him. Oh! Williams turned around off the front of Godsey, and Godsey to the race lead. That will probably be looked at after that contact.
Wow. What a sequence of events there. JB Williams way down the order. He's populating up in second. I think he crossed the timing loop in second probably, but not the way that he would have wanted his race to end here. Godsey now going to be your new leader. Hamble up to second here. Landon's going to be in third. Tony to Spilling to Ruiz, who's going to be the driver who finds himself in the sixth spot. But man, what a turn of events here throughout this race. It's all come unglued.
Yeah, it's coming apart right now, and we'll see what the post-race looks like. But Hamble right now second, Landon third, Tony in fourth, Williams shuffled way back in the running order as a result of that contact. And now it's going to be the question, who's going to be the first to try and make the poke? Godsey has to be able to be Hamble at least. These two are starting to break away all of a sudden now that things have seen them separate out.
Yeah, everybody's getting a lot closer together here. The drivers in third and fourth starting to get close. Landon and Tony, both of those drivers closing their gaps down a whole lot more. So third and fourth closing in to second and first, and a move there further back. Tony looking on the inside now. Landon slots back in the line. Not a good enough run to get it done.
Not quite. But right now, there's still 4 minutes to plot this out. And we know that Hamill's kart is good on long run. We've seen it close up a fair bit as the runs progressed. Let's find out how they plan things out. It looks like a bit of a poke this time. He wants to lead on track right now. Side by side for the race lead. Hamble has to reset. Now tries another poke to the right. Now near contact with Godsey. That allows Landon to poke his way to second.
Yeah, that was a good couple of corners there for Landon to get himself up into the second spot again. Lap prior, took a peek, wasn't close enough to get it done this time around. He's able to get it done. Second time's the charm there for Landon to get clear. Now going to chase down Godsey, and again under investigation after an incident in this race. But a lot of movers here on the inside. Hamble's able to get clear.
This has allowed a big separation for the race lead for Godsey on track right now. Still 3 minutes to do something, though, to be able to close the gap up fully. Hamble once again has already closed it up as, hello, traffic. Traffic comes out from the grass and rejoins the racing line nearly, to the outside, in fact. But still, blue flags raised up. Under 3 minutes to go.
Here's a cool little story for us here at home, Justin. Kyle Landon, the driver who sits in the third spot, who was in the lead of this race there for a second, or was in second for a little bit, had a set of SH2 tires and was destined not to run those brand new MG Red tires for this race, and went to the help desk at the Race WRP Discord and was trying to convince other people here at the racetrack to buy those tires from him so he wouldn't run them in this main event. Whether he ran them or not, that's a complete different story, and we're not sure of yet. But man, for Landon to want to sell those tires, if he did strap them on that go-kart, it's definitely doing him some good to put himself in this lead pack. Godsey and Hamble still fighting it out for the lead, though.
Side by side for the race lead, in fact. Hamble takes it away from Godsey. Under 2 minutes to go, and now it's Hamble up at the point. And we know Hamble's not an easy driver to pass once you give him the race lead. This is now going to get interesting on what Godsey's next move will be. Oh, he's going for it. He backs it up, though. Godsey had a chance if he wanted to make the pass back. Instead, he elects to stay and ride.
Hamble had a lot of pace this morning. I don't know if Godsey really had enough of a shot throughout that back straightaway either. We'll see. He's closing in a lot throughout this infield section. Godsey now looking on the inside of Hamble. Not going to be close enough. Under a minute to go. Just three, I should say, a lot more. 4 laps to go in this race.
Time ticking away as you see these karts now make their way through more of the traffic. Landon still in the popcorn spot with Tony. Godsey trying to build up a decent run now to the back end. It almost looks like Hamble's got the better straight line speed at this point of the race, though. Every time it looks like it closes up, Hamble just seems to almost find a different speed boost to be able to build up that buffer down the straightaway.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needs there, right? To try and get that move done. So we'll see how it all plays out here in this one. So still running out of time. Time is officially run out this time around. So not sure if they got the 2.6 in the air or if it's going to be 30 laps to go this time around, Justin.
We'll get the confirmation when they come around next time by Why Don't We? As Godsey Now running out of time to plot this. Uses a higher line this time to try and do something. Yet again, though, better straight line run for Hamble by a sizable margin. Take a look towards the flag stand, see what the signal is this time around here for these drivers. Godsey looking for a setup. He's been better on the infield section at this point of the race. It's been Hamble much better on the straight line this time by. Let's take a look. They go zoom right on by. The white flag is out. This is the final time around.
Final time around here for the Masters at Whiteland Raceway Park. Hamble working his way throughout the back section now. He's able to get onto the back straight. Godsey now. These two drivers have been the quickest so far this weekend, pushing each other along the back straightaway. Does Godsey have enough to peek on the inside? He does. He's looking full Kart on the inside. Not enough run at the end of it. Not enough gear for Godsey to try and get ahead of Hamble, who's able to hold on to it. Man, that was, I think, the battle further back, but here you have your top two on the inside now. Godsey looking on the inside, Hamble around the outside, side by side, drag race all the way to the finish line.
This is for the win, side by side. Some contact at the line. It's Hamble. Hamble by 0.030 seconds. A close one by 31 thousandths of a second again. Another drag race to end the day.
Insane. What an end of that one. Absolute madness there. Hamble and Godsey keeping it clean all the way to the finish line. And again, we'll see how post-race tech deems the incident in between JB Williams, who arguably was the favorite to go out and take the win here in this race.
So Hamble, Godsey, your top two on track unofficially. Landon, Tony, also was spilling. Williams, O'Gara, Ruiz, Schaefer, Snetler, Owens, Lynn, Dorsey. How they're lined up here. So some more people going to be able to check out the turkeys and the Cornish hen. Part of their celebrations with Richard outside the main building in the northeast corner for when they collect those birds from the podium. Our final race already with the gates opening up for the KA Senior and Masters for their final rotation of the day. Our final race of the day is here, just like that here, Caleb. This should be fun. 12 cars on the racetrack for this group.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Race Liberante fell just short the heat race prior, but I'm going to run you down the starting grid order here, Justin.
Yes, starting running order looks like this. AJ Lund, Lane Gibbs, Race Liberante, Blake Finley, Carson Sauter with Casey Perry, Raider Santos, Braden Heber, Macy Gallian, rounding out the seniors. To the Masters are Nelson and Simon Ellick. They'll start 10th and 11th. The DNS from Braden Rudder from the seniors. See if Rudder does take the green here or not. But this is our final of the season. Green flag is out. And a great start that time for the outside. Somebody had a horrific start, and it was AJ Lund.
Wow. Connor Corsi, your new leader now for the MPG Academy. Race Liberante is up to second. No idea what happened there to AJ Lund to find himself around in the first corner. Wow.
It wasn't necessarily going around. I think it just he didn't go. And that's now opened up the door for the rest of the field to battle it out. Liberante indeed in second spot. Lane Gibbs is now your race leader. Gibbs not a winner this season. His highest finish came in the last race in the heat race on the season. Now he's in a great spot with Liberante playing behind him in the line. Carson Sauter jumped up to second. Lund dropped all the way to fourth with that start.
Yeah, great showing so far for everybody. Connor Corsi now still going to lead this field away with Race Liberante in the second spot. Gibbs, the driver, is going to lead him away. I'm completely mixing him up here. My apologies. Lane Gibbs, the driver in the lead of this race. Race Liberante in second to Sauter, a 1-2-3. And then back to Lund and Finley, your top 5 drivers. Race Liberante, a 48.045. Not enough. AJ Lund now, the driver who sits in 4th. The fastest on the racetrack, 2/10 quicker than everybody else here, Justin.
Does that last, though, is the huge thing. Lund needed to recover a lot of spots, and we've seen it be hard to recover here today. You have to be pixel perfect and picture perfect to make a lot of these passes. Lund already to 3rd, and Lund's trying to be speed perfect to be able to catch up to these two. Liberante trying to help out Gibbs to pull away. Right now they work their way down the straightaway as Lund, new purple lap while making a pass, 45.4. Lund might actually be one of those drivers who can recover from a situation like this with the way he's racing. He's closed up to Liberante within 2 kart lanes.
Yeah, Race Liberante definitely losing some time here on the back straightaway. AJ Lund, 2 car lengths in between themselves. And again, the 2 MPG Academy boys are going to have to kind of get on with it here. It's those gaps are closing in here heavily, Justin.
Heavily so, with how things have gone right now. Still under 6 minutes to go in this race. Oh, and a bit of a slow up, and now there's trouble. Gibbs has stopped on the racetrack.
Wow.
Lane Gibbs has had to stop his kart. Liberante's the race leader.
That is an insane way for this to kind of unfold as now Race Liberante holds on to it. But we saw how how the heat race before this main event ended in between these seniors, and Liberante fell just short to Lund. Again, Lund had really good pace at the start of this race, Justin. So that is could be one of two things. Obviously, that pace could have been too quick, too early, where he used up his equipment a little bit too early, or AJ Lund's just that fast and can be that fast for 9 minutes plus 2 laps here in this one. But when you're fighting against a guy like Race Liberante who has experience everywhere, and everywhere that you put him, he's going to be a front runner no matter what type of car it is, or no matter what it is. If it's dirt, asphalt, whatever, Race Liberante is going to be quick on it. And the experience that this driver has is second to none. So we'll see what AJ Lund can do against Race here at the end of it. About 5 car lengths separates the 2 of them. Maybe even less than that here as they get across. Halfway mark down. Only 4.5 minutes to go in the final round of the Indy Kart Challenge.
And this has championship implications, that issue for Lane Gibbs. AJ Lund, less than 50 points within Gibbs entering this finale, ends up being the tentative points leader in theory because, remember, a finish for 12th spot this season, looking towards the metrics, that's going to potentially cause some major ripples for this race. 15th for reference was 120 on the season. If AJ Lund can find his way to the race lead here, he might take away the championship for Gibbs.
Yeah, it could really be a very, very close championship battle as you get to the end of it, right? I mean, a lot of implications going into it, and if you're Gibbs, you're kind of holding your helmet in your hands, right? What just occurred? What just happened? If it was a mechanical, if it was an outright mistake. To me, it seemed like a mechanical from this side of things, but for Race Liberante, he holds on quite strong to this gap, and it opens up even more now. So the question of whether or not he used up his equipment way too early is very plausible now. A 44.965, just now on lap number 7. Race Liberante was 0.2 quicker than Lund.
And looking at the chart to confirm, 130 is the 12th place points tally from throughout this season. If that is indeed the case here, and 180 would be second spot, the math shows Lund might get it. It's going to be close, though. It'd be within 4 points on that difference for the championship if things hold. In other words, Lund either needs to gain a spot to be able to solidify that, make it comfortable, or do not get passed by Carson Sauter. Sauter last time by was a little bit quicker. If Sauter makes the pass, that might swing the championship by a point to Gibbs. Less than 2 minutes to go this time around. Lots of implications for K.A. Senior.
Yeah, this is definitely starting to heat up on the racetrack and obviously on the point sheets here as well. The battle for third as well with Sauter starting to close in just that little bit on A.J. Lund. And you go back as well, a couple of other drivers. Perry on the edge of your top 5, Rudder in 4th. So the gap's staying quite still here, and I think Race may have opened up his gap even more this time around. He just went and across the line, and indeed, Race Liberante absolutely flying. Not bad for an old man here. Race Liberante putting 2 seconds on a bunch of young guns here, Justin.
Yeah, at this point, that race is gone. Race Liberante, should say, is gone with how he's been running. Minute to go on the season and for today's finale. Lund starting to drift around on these tires. Sauter looking to shake up the championship. He could play a huge factor here. Still within 1-2 kart lengths. Should be about 3 laps to go based on the race laps being turned at the moment.
Last couple laps getting set to go underway. So we'll see how it all plays out this time around. A.J. Lund there looking to close in, but Race Liberante in a zip code of his own. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, all you can say is, off and away you go. Car 1. Kart number 1, putting on some dominating pace here. Liberante has made a couple starts this season. He did pick up a win in a final in round 5, it seems ages ago. He then proceeded to win the next heat he competed in and then finished 7th in a final. Clock reaches zeros, down to the final couple laps on the season. Sauter still pressurizing Lund right now. And you have to wonder what's going through Sauter's mind here, especially with the championship implications. You just got to race what you have on the racetrack, right? Here we go. Sauter, a huge move for the championship. Lund drops back to 3rd.
Lund lost a whole lot of time. They're dropping back to 3rd. It's all kind of falling apart, and we talked about it at the start of this one, right? I was predicting that it could have been just a little too early for AJ to be going that quick, and it seems like that's exactly the case here in this one, Justin.
Lund needs that spot back, and he needs it now. That's all you can say on that point. Problem is, it's not going to be easy, and Lund's trying to push. He is over pushing. He just lost himself 3 kart lengths through that turn. And you can tell Lund knows the circumstance now, potentially in the kart. He is almost trying to be aerodynamically positioned with how urgent this is now getting.
Yeah, definitely very urgent here for AJ to try and pull something out of the bag. Race just crossed the stripe. Final lap underway for Race Liberante, who got to the lead early on in this race, didn't look back ever since, and man, what a sequence of events here today, and for Race to put himself either in preparation for Supernats. I'm not sure if Race is deciding to run that race, but this is exactly a good way and a good way to show the kids, that race under your academy, to show them how it's done. And Race Liberante has done just that, showing them how it's done and how to get it done as well. Race Liberante, your winner here in KA Senior.
Does so by more than 3 seconds. And critically, Sauter second, A.J. Lund third. And now it becomes the mathematician's job. We'll have to see what the official results look like in the end, but right now it might be Gibbs by a point. This could be either Lund by 4 or Gibbs by 1. That's going to be something to keep an eye on the social medias after this one. An intensely close championship finish with what happened to Lane Gibbs' kart.
Yeah, a lot of stories right coming out of this one. AJ found himself with issues at the start. Really good pace in the middle stage of the race, and then just fell off a cliff towards the end and running up the top 3. But for Lane Gibbs, again, issues for him at the start. Just a wild sequence of events.
So on that note, that closes up the racing this season for the Indy Karting Challenge. Drivers now get the chance, the winners for the top step of the podium in these finals. A large turkey, a medium turkey for second, third place getting a Cornish hen. Your thoughts here, Caleb, on the day as the season comes to a close here?
Yeah, it's been a good partnership all year with Joe Janowski, the entire Indy Kart Challenge team here at Whiteland, Indiana, to really start our grassroots program. I know, talked to Xander and the whole goal, and this is exactly what we kind of pictured it to be, right? So a huge shout out to everybody, the production team as well, that put this on for us, and for us to be able to do it from home as well has been one of the coolest things here. So the season has definitely been great. A good start to our grassroots program on our side of things, and the racing. It's been spectacular, week in, week out.
And on that note, be sure to keep an eye on racewrp.com for all the championship finale details on who officially gets the championships in their point standings. Again, right now, things very tightly wound in the races, but it's been an exciting day to close out the season here on Kart Chaser. On that note, though, it's time to say goodbye for our coverage here from Whiteland, Indiana. For my partner today in Cal Viesca, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And for the rest of our crew as well, you've been watching the Indy Karting Challenge for 2024.